everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another MyExpert live training webinar. My name is Jared, and I'm usually the one who does these things, which is my total honor and privilege. I love being able to share knowledge with fellow creators, so that way you guys can have a few more. Basically, my goal every week is to help you add a few more tricks in your bag, give a few more weapons in your arsenal. Today, we're going to be talking about how to make a mug. All right, but we're not doing it the traditional way with a mug press. We're going to be doing it with an oven wrap. So we're going to go through a couple different things today. We have a shot glass here, and for that we have a little mini oven wrap. This is an oven wrap, by the way. And what we have here is this cool piece of silicone rubber, and it wraps around. I'll be going over all this in detail right now, but just so you know what you're getting yourself into, you want to buckle up, get your notepad ready, and don't worry if you miss part of it. You can always watch the replay at heat.press/webinar replay. Now, there's a few main advantages to using an oven wrap, and I'm going to talk about those first. Now, we're Heat Press Nation, so you know we have heat presses galore. If you've been on our YouTube channel, you know that we got some really cool mug presses. And if you guys want to see how that works, just go to our YouTube channel. We have a ton of mug press videos available. But mug presses, they can be a little expensive, especially if you're just starting out. And so not only that, but mug presses, you're doing one at a time. My personal largest mug order is 72 mugs, it's 2 cases. For some of you, that's nothing. I know some of you guys out there, you might have done a zillion mugs, and others you may have done 3. It's okay, it's okay. One thing about the mug press is you can only run one at a time. For one of the guys a couple years back here got married, and he wanted coffee mugs for his wedding favors, which is a super cool idea, by the way. And so what they did here was they set up, like, because we have lots of mug presses here, or had at the time. So they set up like 2 or 3 different stations, and they had like 100 and something mugs to do. But since they had 3 mug presses running at a time, they were able to kind of speed through it. Well, what if you don't have 3 mug presses, right? What if you're limited on space? Or what if you have a lot of shot glasses to do and maybe you don't want to press one at a time? Well, with these oven wraps were developed for bulk. And so they're using these large machines. In fact, we have a really great, if you're interested in, if you're doing like lots of mugs, you might want to check out the Hicks oven. It's an oven specifically designed for coffee mugs, so you could do like a dozen at a time or more. I forget the capacity, but it's really nice. Anyways, so these are meant to do multiples at a time, because one mug press you're doing like, I think it's 190 seconds per mug, just over 3 minutes. So anyways, what the oven wraps allow you to do is you could prep a bunch at a time and then cram as many as you could fit in the oven. And it works really cool. I'm using this, and I'm going to give you guys, we're going to give a full demonstration over there. But basically, you just put the blank item in there, because a heat press, it requires heat and pressure, right? Well, what the mug wrap does is the mug wrap applies the pressure, so that way your oven is free to apply the heat. So it kind of snaps in. And as you can see, we now have a very tight squeeze on the mug. Pop this in the oven like I'm going to show you right now. Don't worry, I'm kind of just explaining the boring part so we can get to the fun part. Yeah, and if you have a handful of these mug wraps, these oven wraps, they're about, I think they range from like $40 to $42 each, which compared to a heat press, again, heat press, if you want to do mugs, you're going to be in the like 3 something range. So you got multiple, it depends on what your situation is. Maybe you only want to do, and this is my tester. The lighting's not the best on it, so you can't see it. This beautiful mug I did with a mug wrap. Tanya's asking, is this better than the shrink wrap method? In my opinion, yes, because these are reusable. So the shrink wrap, one and done. These, you can keep on using them and keep on using them. There's a couple of other advantages to using these wraps, and they're adjustable. So over time, silicone gets a little stretched out, right? Well, it has these little screws on the top here where you can loosen the clamp, and you can actually adjust and tighten the wrap. So even if you stretch it out a bunch, or let's say you have like a weird funky size, right? You got this random sublimation blank from somewhere and you need to press it. it's too wide to fit in the mug press. We have lots of different sized oven wraps available, and not only do they come in different sizes, but they're customizable. You can adjust them, you can tighten them. There's a little bit of slack to loosen them. There's not a ton, but there's enough slack to loosen them. So I would recommend going a little bit oversized, because then you can shrink it down to whatever you got. That's another benefit of using oven wraps. But personally, to me, I feel like if you want to get into sublimation mugs and you're not like 100% ready to commit to a mug press, but you want to test it out, these oven wraps, 40 bucks, you're gonna get, this is the exact same result as if I would have pressed it in a mug press. All right. You say, wait, hold on. There has to be a we're gonna get to those right now. And it's gonna help you decide if mug wraps are the thing for you. You know, let's just get over that. Let's get over that one right now. Let's rip that Band-Aid off. So, Sawgrass sublimation inks have been tested to be non-toxic. That doesn't mean you want to be, you know, breathing it in or anything. Like, you don't want to be eating the inks, you know, with your dinner. But it is tested to be non-toxic, which means it's, of course, safe for food, drinkware, anything you're going to be consuming. It's safe for sublimation masks. So even though you're breathing through the mask, that ink on top, it's not going to affect you. It's been tested to be non-toxic. There are concerns because there hasn't been extensive testing done on what if you use the ink in a food oven. So our official recommendation as Heat Press Nation is to not use the same oven that you use for your food, because there hasn't been enough testing done to see if the ink gets into the oven, which then gets back into your, like, there hasn't been enough testing to do that. So the official word from Heat Press Nation is to not use the same oven that you use your food in. However, I don't really see a problem with it. I mean, of course, you always want to be safe. That's entirely up to you. Again, official HPN recommendation, get a separate oven. What's cool, what I did before we came live is I went on OfferUp and I thought, okay, because you're about to see the oven I'm using. I'm just using a regular countertop oven, and I was finding them for as little as like $35. So $40. You probably have a toaster oven that you got for your you know, from your wedding shower that you still haven't used. Put it to work. Put it to work. Most of us already have a toaster oven that we're like really not using. Or you can go to a thrift store, get one for like $20, $25. I just, again, a quick browse through OfferUp, and I found really good toaster ovens for like $35. Cheaper ones for like $20. I'll show you guys what I'm using right now. I believe this one is in the brand new, like the $89 range. But again, you don't need a new one. Buy someone's old oven off them on OfferUp or Craigslist or something like that, because it's just going to be used for mugs. You're not putting your food in it. You're just putting these in. I'm sure you guys are itching for a live demonstration, so let me make sure my camera is on. Okay, so while I'm setting this up, we're going to talk about some of the limitations that we have on our mugs. And you see here, okay, this is cool, by the way. If you guys want to do custom pet bowls, the inside is all dirty, but this is a really cool dog bowl. These make incredible gifts. In fact, I'm probably going to make this for my brother's. He has a little pug. There's a smaller one, by the way. This is a larger size. And forgive me if I don't have all the sizes details off the top of my head, but these are all available on heatpressnation.com, so you guys can get all this. This is a huge pet bowl. How do you sublimate a huge pet bowl? With an oven wrap. There's no mug press that's going to fit this, but you can actually get that in there, which we're going to be doing today. This is, I want to say this is a 12 ounce, it could be a 10 ounce latte mug, and it's going to fit on our 12 ounce. So you see how this one, how it's kind of curved? All right, it's custom size to match tapered mugs. I showed you already, but we have our little shot glasses. Now, what's cool about this is these shot glasses, you could fit a handful in this oven. I'm going to pan over to the oven right now. And has this cooled down yet? Yes, it did. So this is really hot. This is the standard one for our coffee mug. And I'm going to do one more. And let me run around real quick. I'm going to show you guys the oven that we're working with today. So that's it. This is just your regular run-of-the-mill toaster oven. It's a little bit big, which is good because I could fit like taller things, but you just lay things on their side. Okay, so I was mentioning that there are some drawbacks to working with oven wraps. Here's the big one. time. All right, a coffee mug goes in for about 3 minutes. I recommend 385 degrees, 180 seconds. These have to go in for about 9 to 12 minutes. It depends on your oven. So you definitely want to have some for test presses. Test presses are essential when working with these. Now these shot glasses are a little smaller, so they're going to heat up a little faster. You could probably go on the 9-minute mark on these. And I'm going to see how many I can cram in there. Oh, also, if your oven is, the more things you put in the oven, the more time you want to give them. So if I was going to stack this, I think I could fit about 3. If I had 3 of these, I could do 3 of these at one time, maybe 2 or 3, and I'd have to increase my time again. Definitely want to have some test presses, some extras available for test pressing. But if you're just doing one at a time, which is the most common thing we've seen with these mug wraps, maybe you have you want to just make a couple shot glasses, right? So you just buy one of these, just buy one. Or you're not sure if you want to buy a mug press yet, so you just buy an oven wrap to test out a couple mugs, see if you like it, and if you do, then of course you can go for the mug press and still have your oven wrap. The oven wrap, I mean, you get a bunch of presses out of it. So what I do is I always try to wipe the surface clean. You don't want any lint or anything on your mug. You got that clean. And you guys have seen the mug tutorials before, so I'm not gonna spend too much time. I have a couple more transfers right here. We're gonna press these. So really quick, and by the way, if you want to know how to sublimate a mug in a heat press, we have tons of those videos on our site. So what I'm doing here, the Red Sea, okay. What I'm doing here is I have my printed sublimation transfer for an 11-ounce coffee mug, and I'm just putting some heat tape on the edges so I can tape it to my mug. This part of the process is identical to when you're heat pressing. So if you ever heat pressed a coffee mug, you know exactly how this goes. So I have tape right here, which you might not be able to, and right here I have the strip running on either side. It's kind of hard to see because it's clear, but trust me, it's there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to center it right by the edges. So you see that, so I want it centered. I want things like lined up really nice. And this usually takes a second. And I don't want a crooked mug. So I'm going to, and then right there you see, I don't know if you can tell, but this side is closer to the handle than this side. You want them equidistant, which is a word that I learned in geometry class. Because I'm a little smart, I'm not that smart. And that looks about right. So what I usually do is I'll tape one side down first, and then kind of with my hand, like run it over real tight. Make sure the surface of the transfer is pulled tightly across the mug. And then holding it down, I'll tape this other end. Feel it, make sure that there's no bubbles, all right? It has to be pulled tight across the surface in order for this to work. Now here comes the fun part. I have my mug wrap. And let's just scoot these over just a little bit more so we can see what the heck I am doing. There we go. I have my mug wrap. I'm gonna place my mug right in the center. Now you want the like top to bottom centered. Let's show it like this. There we go. You want it like top to bottom centered. So you want just as much orange on top and on bottom. You don't want the bottom like sticking out or anything like that. That's bad. You want it like right there in the middle. And then you're gonna bring this part up. You're gonna bring this part up. This does take a little practice. And you want each of these to be, again, about equidistant from the handle, meaning equally distant from the handle. This tab, right? So you can see this tab goes in this hole. And it's gonna go in like that, and then you're just gonna pull them together once. Now this is cool. This is the loose setting, which is good for larger mugs, like a 15-ounce or even slightly larger. But then if you want to tighten it more, it has an additional snap on there. And that's what you want for the 11-ounce mugs. So now we have some really nice tension, really nice pressure pressing the transfer into the surface of the mug. And that's it. That's how you prep a mug. I'm going to show you guys how to do all these other ones right now. But first, what we're going to do is actually, I have one more thing to show you guys. We're about to place it in the mug, or in the oven, sorry. And I have these. These are barbecue gloves, all right? The reason why we have barbecue gloves is because this is going to go in the oven for 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes. That's what works best on this oven. Depending on your oven, you might need to change it. So 10 minutes, when you pull it out and when you rotate it, it gets very hot. So use some barbecue gloves. These are going to hold up to the heat. Now you notice I said when you rotate it, for a very good reason. Not all ovens are created equal. The Hicks, if you have the Hicks oven, you don't got to worry about this. The Hicks oven is beautiful. Of course, it's designed specifically for these. Some ovens, like the whole oven isn't a perfect 400 degrees. There might be some hot spots, some cold spots. So what I learned is when I first pressed this mug, this side came out good, but this side came out poop. All right. So what happens is, and you'll see it right now, you put the mug in, and then about halfway through, you just rotate it, you flip it over so it can get a nice and even cook all around. Because look, this one went in for the same time as this one, but this one looks beautiful. This mug is fantastic because I rotated it. So depending on your oven, you may need to rotate this. And when I say rotate, literally just, you're gonna put it in like that, flip it over, and you're good. And of course, so you guys can see, that's what happens when you don't rotate your mug. And I know they're the same mug, this one has a different color inside. Okay, so I'm gonna put on my barbecue gloves. Well, I don't know, the oven's hot, so out of an abundance of caution, putting on the barbecue gloves, and let's load it in. Now, this is gonna take about 10 minutes. So in these 10 minutes, I'm gonna be taking some Q&A, and then I'm also going to be showing you how to do the rest. So, scoot these over here. I got this oven set to 400 degrees. Even though it does have a timer, I just have it on stay on, so it's just gonna stay on. I'm gonna be using my phone as a timer. So here, part of my reach there. Here we have this mug, we're gonna open it up. I mean, if you really wanna slide that out, you can, I mean, whatever. I have gloves on, so I'm gonna reach inside. And the first thing I'm gonna do is, I'm just gonna put it in. And you see here, and I'm losing temperature as I keep it open, so no worries. I could probably fit, if they like kind of went up like that, I rested one on the other, I could probably fit like 3. But since I'm just doing one, testing it at the center, I'm gonna put that back on, and now I'm gonna set my phone timer for, where is it? Oh no, I'm not in, I turned it off. There we go. I don't know if you can tell, 5 minutes, right? 5 minutes. So because this is a 10-minute cook, at halfway through, I'm gonna rotate it, and then we'll let it cook for the other 5 minutes. Okay, turning back over here, I'm just gonna show you really quick how we prep these other items. And in fact, I'm realizing, let me grab my printout. I know you guys want to see that dog bowl. There we go. Everything today was printed on my SG500. And so I have 2 prints that were 8.5 by 11, but for this dog bowl, I did want to print it on 8.5 by 14. And that's why I love, honestly, that's why I love the SG500, because like 8.5 by 14 is pretty big. This is a double X sweater. Usually I'm wearing like 2 or 3X. And if I wanted to put 8.5 by 14, it's actually pretty good coverage. You know, I know the SG 1000 is great, but if you have 8.5 by 14, definitely worth it for the SG 500. So I'm going to show you how we prep these. Let's scoot these over. We don't need these anymore. Just going to get those out of the way. And then we're going to go one by one. So these are also going to be placed out of the way. This is all live. So, and by the way, there's no one like you can still see the door. So no one is sneaking in a different mug. This one is actually pressing, or not pressing, I should say, it's sublimating right now. So we're gonna do the dog bowl, because this one, I feel like it was, for us here testing it, it was the most intimidating, but it comes out really nice. So what I'm doing again with the microfiber cloth, I'm just getting rid of any lint that may be on the surface. when you have lint on the surface of a sublimation print, it catches the ink, and now you have permanent imprints of the ink, which is no bueno. And then it got a little dirty inside, and I don't want any of this lint to like, I don't think it'll catch fire, but like just in case, you know, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna trim it really close to the edge here. So you can see I have my transfer. There we go. We're just gonna trim this while we wait for our 11-ounce mug to cook. Oh, by the way, this dog bowl takes like closer to 20 minutes to sublimate. So I'm not gonna do this live today, but I will show you guys how it comes out. And that's gonna be in the HPN Creators group. Real quick shout out to our Heat Press Nation Creators group. If you're not in the group, please join. It's really great. And it's where we show like the follow-ups to some of these things that we can't get to live. So this dog bowl, I'm showing you guys how we prep for it, but the finished product, it takes like 20 minutes. So you just look for it in the Facebook group. Okay, so we're gonna do this very similar to how we set up the mug. Get some heat tape. Just gonna put some heat tape on either end. And if you're asking questions, I'm gonna get to the Q&A right after I flip that mug, which I should have probably about like 2 minutes left. So waiting for my alarm to go off. Okay, so now we have heat tape on there. We're just gonna carefully lift this now. There we go. And what's cool about this is since there's no handle, like you can just kind of, like as long as it's aligned properly, you can do pretty good. And again, it's nice and tight. So what I do is actually one end. So you're gonna take down one end, right? And then kind of pull firmly. Oh, not too firmly, of course. You mess up like me. But you're gonna kind of pull firmly across the surface to make sure that there are no bubbles. Bubbles are your worst nightmare because then there's like a strip of the transfer that just does not press properly and it looks dumb. So there we go. I'm just gonna kind of a little more carefully, not too careful. Now, one thing you'll notice now, if you have an SG-1000, I will say this: if you have an SG-1000, you have the 11 by 17. Oh no, sorry, you'll need 13 by 19. You have the expansion tray, you have all that. 13 by 19. That's our time. Let's just I'm gonna switch over really quick. And here's what I mean when I say I'm gonna rotate it. I'm just gonna get it. So you see how it's like that? There we go. That's very hot, which is again why I'm using my barbecue gloves. And we are going to set another timer for another 5 minutes. All right, so it's been in there about 10 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out. And it's very hot. In fact, even though I'm wearing my barbecue gloves, I can still feel how hot this is. So what I usually peel it hot. I mean, if you wait for this to cool, you're gonna be waiting a really long time because it's been in there 400 degrees, 10 minutes. This is extremely hot. So to open it up, which you're just gonna like kind of like lift, do like a lifting folding motion. Gonna unlock it to the first one. There we go. I'm gonna open that up. This is very hot. These metal parts are gonna stay hot for a little while. I'm gonna carefully pull them out. I gotta remind myself to not touch that. And oh, when you're using a mug press, the handle stays cool in a mug press. In an oven, this handle is very, very hot. So again, get some barbecue gloves or some oven mitts, whatever. And I feel pretty confident to let this just peel this now. Just air it, let it fan for a second. I'm pretty confident in peeling this now. So grabbing it by the end, grab some tape. And what do you know? We got a beautiful, fully sublimated 11-ounce mug. And for anyone who's curious, no, it's not gonna smudge. That's in there. That's good. I'm gonna hold it up a little closer. There we go. Look at that. These colors are beautiful, and the darks came out really dark. I used Texprint XPHR sublimation paper, and dude, came out great. Great, 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 great. Look at that. You guys are seeing it up close. Boom. Beautiful mug. Done with our sublimation wrap. There we go. And now I'm going to show you guys the process for the other ones. But you guys just saw how easy that was. You know, of course, it does take a little bit more time than a mug press. But once you get into, to things like this. Okay, so picking back up right here, we're just going to pull it across. Oh, see, my tape came off. I'll just get a new piece. We're going to pull it across, make sure it's even. And again, this dog bowl is going to take like 20 minutes, so I'm not going to do it. Now, here's one thing, that I was talking about. So if you have an SG 1000 with the bypass trade, you have the 13 by 19 inch paper, then you could do a single piece all the way around. But if you have 8.5 by 14 or even 11 by 17, it's not going to make it all the way around. The circumference on this one is just a little bit bigger than those. So if you want to do it in a single piece, you're going to need to have that 13 by 19 inch paper. Otherwise, you could just be mindful of the gaps. And I'm going to press this one just off the surface of the tape there. Going to tape that in place. And again, we're just going to kind of pull it gently along. And there's some overlap here. Okay, I'm just going to tape that down. And then once that's in place, we're going to do it like this. We're going to place this right in the middle. Again, you want a little bit above and a little bit below. You don't want any part of your substrate sticking out past the edge of the wrap. Oh, look, see here, that's not good. So I had a little bubbling there. There we go. Oh, yep. This is something that you don't want. Just tape this down. There we go. And again, I'm probably gonna have to get a new piece of tape. You don't want any bubbling. So I guess I didn't do that great of a job on this one. The mug came out good. I'm gonna tape that down there. There we go. That should be good. So we're just gonna load this up here. We're gonna bring this one up here. And like work it a little bit. There we go. Get it through the latch, and then it's like a lever mechanism. So once you get it through the latch, you might have to work it a little bit. There we go. You could just squeeze it right there, and that's how you get nice tension on the whole. This is on the whole dog bowl. This is ready to go into the oven. Again, we don't have a ton of time to do that. I'm going to show you guys the shot glass for our last demonstration. I know I have another one here, but we were running a little low on time. And if you guys can nail like a big item, a tiny item, and then as you just saw with the mug, a medium item, trust me, you can work all of these. So we have our shot glass template that I made in, oh, by the way, shout out to Sawgrass Creative Studio for having a really cool template for me for my shot glass. If you guys have a Sawgrass printer, and you know just how awesome Creative Studio is, all of like the graphics, and I'll take this up. First of all, I'll show it to the camera, but then also this will be featured in our Facebook group. By the way, once again, and I'm going to put this link out there to everybody, but our Facebook group is heat.press/FB group. Now, it's hard to see on camera, but even in Creative Studio, if you want to know how to like cut the shape, it'll print a line for you, like right around. You want to cut on the inside of the grade because otherwise it'll transfer on your mug. There we go. Really cool. And I forgot the autofocus is not on, so I'll have to show you guys from over here. Really cool transfer. And then, yeah. So same principle. You're gonna get some heat tape, put some at either end. Now for the shot glasses, again, the shot glasses there's no handle on it. So what I don't like to do is a full wrap, and by full wrap, oh no, that mug's hot. It's like the coffee mug that you just saw, where it's like full color all the way around. For these, what I've noticed works really well on the shot glasses, you can disguise the gap, because again, when we wrap it, there's a little gap here, right? You can disguise that gap by just having a single graphic on a white background. So that way people don't even have to see a gap. They don't even think of the gap. You're disguising the gap by with like clever artwork. I'm all about clever artwork, by the way. So this one, and this one, it's okay if there's some overlap on the back. So I'm gonna hold it. So I taped it, you saw I taped it down, right? I'm gonna hold it, pull it tight, and then I'm just gonna tape it back over here now. There we go. Coffee mug, and it's going this way. Now, one thing you do, so you see this tape, right? Here's the overlap, here's the little strip that's not gonna get any coverage. That's where you want these to join. So just imagine that there's a handle there. You want full coverage on your whole mug and not anything less. So there we go. This one takes a little bit more work to get it centered. You definitely want to give yourself some leeway, a little practice there. But I think we got it. There we go. Yeah. There's one snap for the slightly larger mugs, second snap for the most tightness, which is what I want on this one. And there we go. Shot glass is ready to be placed in the oven, and you just saw the process. It's going to be the same. For the shot glass, instead of 10 minutes, I'm going to go 8 minutes, 4 minutes on each side. Of course, the flipping, that's up to you. Again, you want to do test presses in your oven, you know, before doing a large run. But these shot glasses, I know I can fit like 4 at a time in this oven. So that's cool. All right, so you guys saw the demonstrations. I'm going back to the desk over here. Okay, that's gonna do it for me, you guys. It's 11 o'clock now, so it's time for me to go and handle some business. But I thank everybody for joining us. If you are late to the webinar and you didn't catch all the good parts, what you can do is go to heat.press/webinar replay. That'll be up and available for you guys in about 2 hours. It usually takes about 2 hours for the video to process to get saved. It's Friday, you guys. I hope everybody is staying safe out there. I hope you guys are having a great time. Hope you have a great, safe weekend. Wear your mask, wash your hands, you know, shower and hand sanitizer. I don't know. But let's stay safe out there, everybody. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you all around. Adios.